guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I look very weird because I don't have my eyebrows on. So, thank you very much, truck. So today I'm doing an eyebrow tutorial slash how I do my eyebrows every day of my life. Yeah, I'm just gonna jump right into it because I should be leaving for work in like 10 minutes, but I really want to get this video out to the interweb. So let's get started. I always bring my eyebrow stuff with me everywhere I go, so it's all in this Zoeva bag. I use a lot of products some may call unnecessary for my eyebrows, but I like them to look a certain way, and I've found a really good way for me to do them. So I just like to stick with that. So the first thing I always go in with is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, and I'm in the shade Taupe. I remember when I first started to use this, I got like the color Ebony or something, and that's a very, very dark brow pencil. So my eyebrows were like black for a while, and that was when I was in like high school. I want to say it was like junior year of high school. Try to block that memory out. But yeah, I just brush my brow hairs upwards, and I am going to start filling in the bottom part of my eyebrow. So right here where I have a gap on both eyebrows, I just start to fill in lightly. And already I have a straight line now. And I slowly like to take the pencil forward, especially in this brow, because I have very little hair right here. It's all kind of like in little spots and not in a direct line like this brow is. And then I just like to lightly make little brow strokes. I hate the road that I live on. But yeah, I just like to lightly start to fill in the spots where I do have hair, but just to make them a little darker. And then slowly start to come up in the front. And I'm really not putting the pencil super hard onto my skin. The further I come up right here is the lightest pressure that I'm putting. That made sense, right? And if anything looks too dark or anything like that, I always can just go in with the spoolie and brush it out. Okay, so we have kind of a brow shape going on. My eyebrows grow in two different ways basically, so I have to make accommodations for each brow. I usually like to start doing the arch and finishing the brow on this side because this one sucks so bad. And this one is the nice eyebrow that doesn't give me a lot of stress. So with this eyebrow, this one right here, the devil child, I like to start right here where I know that's where my brow like starts. This is very hard for me to explain, I'm sorry. So this is where my brow hair stops, and I like to somewhat stay in the vicinity of where my eyebrow hair is, just to make it as natural looking as possible. So I'm gonna come in from this way with the brow pencil and start feathering light strokes. And because I want to create an arch that I don't have, I'm gonna start coming in this way, kind of on a diagonal, and creating the arch that is non-existent. And I know I like to start my arch kind of towards the ending part of my eye. I don't like my arch to be like right at the center of my iris. So I just like to go down and connect where the tail end of my brow is. So now I have a nice guideline of what my brows should look like, and then I just start to feather in brow hairs. And I like to go back and forth between looking at myself straight on from this way and then from up here, because I don't like when it looks like it's just an outline and nothing in here is, it doesn't look like the same texture or the same darkness. It's just like an outline and there's gap between hairs. And I just like to elongate my brow as well. Alright, so I'm going to leave my brow like this for right now until we come back for the other steps, but I'm gonna fill in the other eyebrow. But honestly, look at the difference. Like, what? Okay, so for this brow, this is the good brow. Basically, all I have to do is to create a bigger arch and make it a tiny bit thicker. So this one I can start wherever I really want. This eyebrow, I have to make sure that I start here where it ends, or it's just gonna be a mess. So usually I like to start in the center and just make my way forward. So I know that's where my brow is going to start. I like to look forward and go like this and make sure that the eyebrows start at the same height. So I think it looks pretty okay for right now. I'm gonna start angling upwards. When I mess up on my brows, which most of the time I do, but I haven't yet, I'll go in with a concealer, so either a Tarte Shape Tape or MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and I'll just go on a flat brush like this one. This one's from Urban Decay. It just looks like that, and I'll carve out wherever I messed up. So yeah, moving on. I'm just starting to fill in the tail now, and this tail of this eyebrow needs a lot of work. That's the only problem I really have with this eyebrow, is that it stops a little shorter than the other, so I just have to make it a little longer than I did with this one. Okay. And then once I have that tail, I usually know where to connect it with the arch. And I've been doing my eyebrows, filling them in for a while now, probably since like my sophomore year of high school, or maybe even earlier than that. So I know how things are supposed to connect when I do my brow routine and how it's supposed to look. I honestly think that just filling in your brows just becomes a routine for you, and then you know how everything is supposed to go when you do it. And I know if I'm about to mess up on my brows because it either doesn't look right or I literally have no idea like what I just did. And if you're a beginner with filling in your eyebrows, I recommend using powders at first. Also, don't use the Dip Brow by Anastasia. I know everyone loves to say to use that, but it's a train wreck, especially when you're trying to fill in your brows for the first time. I made that mistake. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do, if I can find it, okay, is use this number, what is this, 7? It's an Aveda brush. I go to a school that has Aveda products, so this was given to me. It just has a spoolie on one end and then an angled brush on the other. So I just like to brush my hair upwards, get any excess product out. And then this is the Anastasia eyebrow powder duo. Yes, in Taupe. And I'm going to take this lighter part and I'm going to, this is kind of the weird part where I do my brows, but I'm gonna go back and forth in this front area to create kind of like an ombre brow that you see on Instagram, but it's not as prevalent. Is that the right word? it's not as like harsh. It's not like super dark and super light. I just like a natural gradient. So I just blend the product that's already in my brows forward, and that lighter brow powder is just gonna create a nice gradient. And if I think the front part of my brow looks a little too harsh, I always go in with my sponge that has leftover foundation, and I'll just pat it at the center and over the front of my brow. So it just softens it just a little, just like that. Next part of my brow routine. Next part of my brow routine is adding fullness and the illusion that I have more brow hair than I actually do. This is the L'Oreal Brow Plumper or Brow Stylist. I'll put it in the description below exactly what it is. I've had this for a long time. There's still a bunch of product in it. The name is rubbed off. But I just like to run this through my brows. This just adds fullness, and the hairs that are a lot lighter in my brow, it gives them color. The last thing I do is just set my brows with Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. This literally is like cement for your eyebrows, and if you don't have this or run out of it, I literally spray this spoolie with hairspray, and then it's basically the same thing. And that is the finished brow tutorial. I'm sorry if you didn't learn anything too exciting. Brows aren't that fun to watch. That's why I skip a lot of that part in my makeup tutorials. But now you know how I do my brows. Yeah, alright, I have to leave for work now or I'm literally gonna get fired. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it as always, and I will see you next week with another video. When I feel what I feel, sometimes it's hard to tell.